Today on CCM Chats, we're in Summers to speak with Director of Public Works, Todd Rolland, about how his town uses the StreetScan program. So one of our newer programs that you've started participating in is the StreetScan program.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what that is and how it works.
StreetScan is a program that the vendor comes out and they literally scan every foot or mile of road with optical cameras, video cameras. They also have a radar system that detects the contours of the road. They can also scan your street signs and do a sign inventory, sidewalks. We didn't use that. We did the road inventory itself. Before we utilized StreetScan, we used to do a visual survey every year with two guys in a truck, or we had other companies we used that were a lot less expensive, but the data wasn't it wasn't very good data in so much as the people that went out and did it were really engineering interns, and they would go and drive the streets and just do a visual check-off sheet of checking different things, which was, it was okay, but it wasn't nearly as extensive as StreetScan. We were very happy with StreetScan. They drove their van around every mile of road in Summers, and they came up. You have a login website that you go into, and it rated all of our roads on the pavement condition index. It's a scale of 0 to 100, with 100 being good or new roads, say nearly perfect, and 0 being complete failures. And then they're rated on different things: deformation, the if there's any potholes, the condition of the surface. So we availed ourselves of that in this past June, I guess it was. And they came out, and that was really the basis for us for our going forward with a bonding package to resurface 40 miles of our 90 miles of roads.
So you use that data to determine where best to use your resources?
Absolutely, yeah. That gave us a good data set, both a visual, which is it's a color-coded map of the town of all the roads, and also an Excel file with all of the criteria, the engineering data that we could use to back it up. We took all of that as a town as a whole, and then we said, okay, we have to be within a certain budgetary guideline of resurfacing. So we said, if we could we took this data, and what can we do with this within these budgetary constraints, and we
get the most out of that every dollar.
Absolutely. There's things like with road maintenance, you can do resurfacing or crack seal that is on the lesser expensive side, or complete road reconstruction, which is very expensive. So if you had $1 million, you could reconstruct one road, or you can resurface 10. Your buck goes farther if you can just resurface 10. So always trying to stay ahead of the maintenance aspect, which is resurfacing, crack sealing, things like that. And with this data we got from StreetScan, we're able to take the town as a whole, and we're able to boil down within our budget constraints that we could resurface 40 miles of town road, which is all of our main roads, what we would call our main roads, our rural collectors and arterials, and then do this over a 3-year time scale with this bond money that has been approved by the voters. We took all of this data, did a presentation to our voting public, and in our referendum in November, they voted to approve this $4 million bond issue for road resurfacing.
And do you think that having that information and data to back you up helped?
Absolutely, no question, because it's one, empirical, and two, visual, where we could show the map and we could show the road list and show what we wanted to do, and also said we had a professional vendor come in, a third party. They looked at all the roads. They gave us a condition index for all of the roads. So now we have a data set, kind of a base point for our engineering department to look at and say, okay, this is where we are today in 2018. If we spend this money, this will get us here over the next 3 years. And from there, we can then budget so much per year to stay ahead of resurfacing is really our goal, and eventually get every road in town, hopefully within the next 10 years or so, to be resurfaced, which is every resident wants to know when their roads are getting done.
Everyone likes good roads.
That's right.
Would you recommend the service to other towns?
Absolutely. Budget-wise, they were right on track. The nice thing about CCM is because they had been vetted by CCM, we didn't have to go and do an RFP and go through that process, which can be very cumbersome. It takes resources, staff resources that we don't necessarily have to write all the bid specs and then do a formal RFP. When we're using CCM or going through their purchasing council, we don't have to do that because it meets all of the requirements for a competitive bid. So I like that a lot. I use CCM a lot for those kind of things. And in this case, it worked quite well. And all of our boards were very happy with the process and the fact that this is a CCM approved vendor. The end product was quite high, and I definitely recommend them.
So obviously you like the data and all that stuff. Were they easy to work with?
Oh, absolutely. They're very, I mean, the process was quite simple. Most of it was electronic, which I like. Email is my friend because there's so many demands for our time. We tend to do things electronically. We went back and forth. We had a couple phone conversations. They laid out exactly the plan. We kind of finalized the map, and then they brought their people and equipment down for a couple days to scan the whole town, and they were done and gone, and they do the rest of their work, in their office on their own servers. And then when they do a soft rollout to me of the website, which shows the town roads and the classifications, and then we critique it a little bit. And the nice thing about it is it's a living system essentially. So every year when we resurface the roads, we'll go back and give them the list, and they'll change the PCI rating of the road because it makes it higher once you resurface it.
So it's not just a one and done and then they're
correct.
off.
No, it's ongoing, which is another thing that our residents really liked, was that this data set is kind of a living data set.
So you can track your progress as you
Absolutely.
address these things.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, thank you for talking with us about the StreetScan
Sure.
program. Sounds like it's really working for
Yeah,
plumbers.
it was a great experience. Definitely recommend it.
Thank you.